we'll go ahead with questions. Start with Avery.
Yeah, Ella, let's start off with you. Going last weekend, what did that mean to not only go back close to home and play in that tournament, but to have the kind of success that you've had, and what do you feel like has been the key to being able to be that successful early with this team?
Last weekend was just a dream. Being able to play in front of my family, being able to see all the girls I've grown up with was amazing. But what really has helped me playing wise is just looking up to all these older girls on this team. They've really stepped up in their captain role and really allowed us to transfer in really easily, which was really nice.
And for both of y'all, what's the most exciting part of getting to move to Love's Field this weekend?
I think it's just the fact that it's so unprecedented in the sport's history. Like, we're getting to be the first to do something. And I know, like, as I walked on Love's Field, I just felt extremely blessed with the history of players that have been here, and to be on the first team that gets to play there is super special. So I'm grateful for that.
Just so thankful for this opportunity, and I know it's been a long time coming, but it's really surreal to just see it all happen.
Jenny and then Eric.
To both of you, Patty's not usually super emotional, but in here she had to kind of stop herself a couple times as she talked about moving to Loves and just all that it means for the program and for her. Have you sensed her at all being more emotional? How has she sort of approached this?
I think she's just like told us, like, be grateful for it and to recognize the history and the importance of this moment. Like starting over at Reeves Park, I know she mentions that a lot, and just the transitions that had to be made. And so I think it's just like being grateful and understanding this isn't always where the program has been. So yeah.
Yeah, she's just like, just take it all in. This is very, what she said, unprecedented, and be thankful for all the opportunities that we're given.
Can you guys talk about what stands out to you from your first time over there? If it was a single thing or something somebody said, anything that sort of stands out to you guys as you got that first look?
Just the amount of stands or chairs that were in the stadium. I've never been able to play in that sort of situation, which is going to be insane to play in, but it just shows that the sport is growing in a really good way.
Yeah, I would second that. That's definitely what I noticed first. And just to see that many seats and be able to imagine all of the fans and the people that supported and donated, for that to come true was really cool. Thank you.
Ella, when you were recruited here, how much did they tell you about this stadium? How early were they saying, hey, we're going to build a new stadium, or hey, this is where we're at? What was those conversations like during the recruiting process?
I remember it was always like in the works and just talking it out, and they were like, oh yeah, sometime soon it'll happen, but being able to finally be here and see it all happen is just so insane. It's like it's finally sitting in.
Last week we had a funny conversation about Patty's first phone call to Riley during the recruiting process. What do you guys remember about the first phone call you received to her about recruiting? Did you believe it was her? I guess last week they didn't believe it was her. What was it like, that process, that first phone call with Patty?
I have to agree with Riley because it's Coach Gasso. It's so much history behind her name, and it was like kind of shocking to see. Kind of had to take a bit of a reality check, I'm not gonna lie, and it was really, really cool.
Yeah, I would say the same. I was actually on my way home from somewhere, I can't remember where, with my mom, and I was like, get out of the car. Like, we pulled over to a gas station, and she got out and like went in, and I locked the car door because she came back and was like, are you out of the car? Go away. But I would just kind of say the same thing. Like, it was surreal. It was like, this is Coach Gasso, 7 national champions, so just an honor to be called.
Thanks, guys.
Bob and then Chapman.
Karlie, a couple for you. Just one, the change in your mindset, not having to be the workhorse, and then what this weekend's gonna be like having your former team here.
Yeah, super awesome to have a whole staff and to be able to rely on other people. Not that I couldn't before, but just to be able to fully trust in the depth of it and not have to be mentally ready all the time is super awesome, and I love every pitcher here, but it's super cool to have that. And I'm just really excited. I think it's a perfect weekend, the new Love Stadium, and getting to see everyone. And I have great memories from Liberty, so I think it'll just be a special weekend for me.
Karlie, we're so much in the bubble here. We've known since the announcement of the stadium, that pathway. For you guys that weren't in Norman, is this something that made waves across locker rooms in college football? Like, hey, did you see what Oklahoma's doing? Like, is that something you were aware of before even Coach Gasso called in the recruitment and that kind of thing?
Yeah, so actually, we had talked about whenever I was at Liberty, Coach Richardson had come up to me and was like, hey, what do you think about going to play in the first tournament that OU is hosting at their new field? And so we had already kind of agreed and planned to come play here before. So it was definitely news in other programs, and just like, wow, this is really cool. Like, look where the sport is growing.
And then for Ella, a lot with Mary Nutter or the first time at Hall of Fame with new pieces, it's a conversation of what are the veterans telling you about how to handle the atmosphere, things like that. Have the veterans had any advice, knowing that being surrounded's not new, but it's a new stadium, new environment, like no one has experienced what's going to happen this weekend?
I think all of us are just like go in and play our game. The outside part, trying not to let that affect us. But obviously, it's going to be a different environment. But just really sticking to our plan and our game.
Holden and then James.
I'm just wondering if you all have talked about who's going to get the first, home run, strikeout, things like that, like the competition aspect between yourselves to do the first at the stadium.
I don't feel like we've really had too much talk about that, because I think it kind of goes back to what Ella's saying, is we're not really worrying about the new feel or things like that, but just kind of sticking to what we do and how we play.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. It'll come when it comes.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
Hopefully first day.
Karlie, you had the broken finger, so how tough was that to come back from? And Ella, when you get a chance, you seem so calm at the plate. I've never really seen you hit much, but you seem so calm. I'm curious, are you really that calm inside when you're up there? Karlie?
Yeah, it was actually a really big challenge. This is the first major injury I've ever had. So just that aspect alone was challenging, but I've had great people around me from day one. The doctors, surgeons, all of the medical staff. Mara, our AT, is wonderful. She's helped me every day just with mentality, physically. And so it was tough, but with great people around you, it's easy. And so I think once I was healed, it was like, all right, let's go. Like, no more worry about the pinky. So.
Was it painful the first time you threw?
Well, I actually threw the day I broke it, so yes. But no, we started out really slow and did a progression, so it didn't hurt.
I do my best to just like keep all the outside voices shut off, and I really focused on my breathing, and that's what helps me stay calm, because if I start to lose track of that, that's when I start to get all ramped up. So just really focusing on my breathing is what's helped me stay calm, and no matter what situation it is at the
You know
plate.
yourself better than anybody. Has everything been kind of normal for you at the plate? Because it looks.
I'd say yeah, just sticking to my plan, just attacking and keeping up with my breath is what just helped me, and that's my go-to plan.
Last one for Eli.
Karlie, I think Patty blamed herself for your pinky injury when she explained it to us. What do you remember about the sequence where that happened? And then for yourself, getting here, did taking a step back or being forced to help at all in any of your other pieces of your transition?
Yeah, so she had said, like, right before we did our drill, even pitchers, I want you diving, like, full effort. And so honestly, when it happened, when I dove, I didn't even think about my finger. Like, I had scratched up my face a little bit, so I was like, God, and I had dirt all in my mouth. I was like, gross. And then I looked down and I was like, Mara, does this look right to you? Like, I think something's wrong. She's like, yeah, that's not good. So that's kind of what I remember about that. But I wouldn't change it. I think it gave me a whole new perspective. I've never really been able to sit back and view things differently. I've always been kind of go, always the one pitching. And so being able to sit back and look at other pitchers' bullpens, hear what Coach Rocha was saying to them, and looking at different, like, statistics and things like that, and being able to kind of decipher things from a Coach Rocha point of view really helped me in understanding the game more. So I think that was really valuable for me and kind of helped me transition into this new phase, and the more information I have here, how to digest that.